What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Neel. Welcome to Beyond the 90, and it is just finished. Leicester 4, Leeds 1. And what even was that match? That was unbelievable first half. And second half, it was a really decent match overall. I'm just super buzzing about, especially the first half performance and then the second half as well. 4 goals, absolutely buzzing. So there's only one real place to start. Bamford. He missed that second minute goal. Pretty much he could have hit it anywhere else apart from at Schmeichel, and it was an absolute sitter of a ball. It was brilliant to see how we counterattacked. I know we've been trying to move away from counterattack a lot more. When you look at the likes of why Brendan Rodgers was brought in, it was to play a different style, to make sure that teams won't just give us the ball like West Ham did. And the way that we got it from Schmeichel, then an amazing ball from Fuchs straight over. It just reminded me of the old Leicester City. So obviously we've not got Mahrez. We'll come on to Under in a bit, who looks pretty awesome as well. Over to Vardy, who selfishly puts it on the plate for Barnes, making it 1-0. And I was thinking, just as Bamford hits the ball over into Schmeichel's hands, I was thinking, oh my God, we're in for a tough game here. We're in for a real tough ride, because if this is how they're starting from the first minute, apparently, as you found out from our last show with Adonis, if you could check that out on our channel, he was saying they don't stop for 90 minutes. And bearing in mind, last season, they were playing the championships. They played even more games than the Premier League. So I knew they were going to be up for it. But the way that we got that first goal was absolutely sensational. Just that synergy between Vardy and Barnes is looking so sharp at the moment. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for both of them. Moving on, there was a few other instances where I thought we could be in here again. So Vardy, Pratt, Barnes, all attacking the box, closing down the space, and just being an absolute nuisance, in particularly Vardy. So it's something that we've missed with Nacho in the team. Nobody quite presses like Jamie Vardy. I'd argue even in the Premier League for how well he's doing. And the way he was leading the team, Pratt was bombing on and was pressing really good positions. Same with Harvey Barnes. And I thought we could have got another goal even. A couple of easy decisions that weren't really, that could, if improved on, we could make a much better team. But I'm really excited for the way that it's going to turn out. And then comes the goal. So Mark Albrighton, who I believe will come on to individual man of the matches and stuff later on, but Mark Albrighton was absolutely sensational in this match. People have complained that, yes, he's lost his pace. Yes, he gets the ball in a lot. He seemed to have changed massively. Before, at the beginning of the season, he would more get his head down, get the ball in the box, get his head down, get the ball in the box. And that was his entire shtick, and that's what he was doing. Now I think he's updated his game, and he's actually working so much better. So playing in this wing-back role, a lot of the times he was staying back and defending really hard alongside James Justin. But getting up that right-hand side, flicking balls in, and taking a player on is something that we've not really seen Albrighton do too much, but it was probably under Brendan Rodgers' instruction of how to play football. And we'll come on to that in a bit. But when the ball comes in, Vardy heads it, nearly gets the ball, and we may have got a slight fortunate. It came off his hand onto his head. Then the ball runs wide. Tielemans, again, in the right position at the right time just to tap it home, and that's exactly what we needed. For the rest of that match, we looked absolutely brilliant. You look at players like Pratt. You look at even the middle with Mendy, which we'll get onto in a bit, but he had such a good game, in my opinion. We could name the whole team, but we'll go through individuals. Obviously, when they equalised 2-1, I was thinking, here we go again. With the Premier League and with Leeds, they look like a very good team. And they were. If you look at a team like Arsenal, for example, I'd say Leeds were a better opposition than Arsenal were. The amount they tapped the ball, they hit the corner of the post where it probably would have gone in because Schmeichel was rooted to his spot. And there was a couple of opportunities where I thought, oh, this could be a goal, especially when Bamford got in on it. It wasn't quite his night, in my opinion. He didn't really get the full form that he was mentioned. Obviously, getting a hat-trick, that's quite hard to move on from. In the first half, Leeds did look a bit off the pace, in my opinion. They weren't, there was just like that yard off, and they didn't quite connect them balls. And I think the number 7 came on. I can't remember who it was for their team. He was really good, and a couple of opportunities they had, they didn't quite take. And that was probably the difference in this game. We were unbelievably clinical, something that me and James have touched on in the past, where we've got into the last position and we play tiki-taka football and nobody's willing to put it in the back of the net. This time, it wasn't the case. We've got brilliant players all over the pitch. We did look a bit shaky. And bearing in mind that this back three coming into this game, we had no Johnny Evans, no Wes Morgan. Both of them normally start most games, if you think about it, one or the other. So you look back all the way to 2012 when Wes Morgan came into the team and he held that position. Then Johnny Evans came in, replaced him, and kind of there's a transition rollout. And if you were to believe the rumors, it looks like Wes Morgan's going to sign a coaching role with the back staff, which will be great. But Fofana playing at the back as a central pivot with just in one side, who's, again, bearing in mind, this guy's only been with us since about a year and a half now, just less than that even. You look at the way that he's adapted his game. You look at the way that Fuchs has jumped in, and bearing in mind, he's not played too many games. You count last season as well. He's not played too many games, but when called upon, absolutely brilliant. And the best compliment I can give for that back line is that there was most of the time that we didn't miss Soyuncu or Johnny Evans. Now, to say that with such a young back line, you count Thomas in that as well, the future looks so bright, and we've got so much opportunity to really push on with this team. And I can't believe it. I can't believe how well we played. First half, it was pretty much flawless. All it was missing was a final ball in, a final more couple of goals, and that really would have upset Leeds United. And I'm thinking they were a pretty good opposition. Like, we were speaking about this before. We've not seen Bielsa ball before. We've not seen how his tactics quite play in the Premier League. And as we were saying, there was a thinking of playing counter-attack. And we did it. And we perfected it in the first half. As we move into the second half, Leeds came at us all guns blazing. It could have been a very easy opportunity to go, right, that's it, 2-0. We're going to settle for the 0 points. But no, they threw everything at us to try and break us down, knock us forward. And we, for the most part, resisted it. We were a bit lackluster in the middle. And I think that's where Leeds won possession a lot of the time in the midfield. Not to say that Mendy, Tielemans and Pratt didn't have a really good game, because to be fair, all over the pitch, even the substitutes, everybody had an 8 out of 10 plus, because my God, was that such a good game to watch. I've not felt this excited for a Leicester team in a while. Even the Premier League side that won in 2015, 2016, there's something different about the team. There's a youthful energy, there's a vibrance. And let's not forget who's out of this team. Wilfred Ndidi, Soyuncu, Evans, Castagna, Daniel Amate, Ricardo. And I think there might be a couple more. I think that's everybody for the moment. But that is them 4 positions. If you look at Ricardo, Castagna, Evans and Soyuncu, them 4 are starters. If all 4 of them are fit, they all start. And that gives me so much confidence going forward that we're going to be able to develop into such a powerful team. Because, my God, if we play like that, game in, game out, I don't know where we're going to go, because the only downside is we played our absolute socks off, and we've got a match in 3 days. So we're going to have to see how that works. So normally, if you look at it, we normally do a man of the match. And as you can see from my notes, you can't see them. I've got 2 sides full, because I can't give an individual man of the match. Every single one of them team players worked their absolute socks off. Every single one. So I just want to go through with them individually. The man of the match actually might be Brendan Rodgers for trusting in that formation, trusting in the players, putting in that performance and putting in that formation and that work rate against such a strong team. Now, Leeds is going to be up there, in my opinion. They're going to play some absolutely brilliant football, and they'll be able to knock a top 6 off their perch. And that's exciting. I think we've talked about this before, where the top 6 is kind of abolished at the moment. Liverpool are a little bit of you don't know what's happening, especially without Fabinho and Van Dijk at the back. Man City seem to have the same problem as us, where they've got most people injured. You've got Man United, which are, let's not even go into that because they're the laughing stock of the Premier League at the moment. And fair enough, because, I mean, a lot of their fans are just used to winning. So get used to that position. Arsenal are still in a turnaround phase. Tottenham just are kind of winning and not really being too convincing, even though for some reason they're getting touted as being Premier League champions, even though we're not. But I digress. I'll bring it back to the football in this game. So the first player I want to mention is Mendy. Mendy is, for a player that we were going to let go in the summer, we mentioned it every single game. My God, is he an amazing player. And what he was able to do is clear the space, use the ball and get a couple of players and take a couple of players with him, relax the game, but also break the pressure. And I thought he did that so many times in so many key positions. A couple of times I realized as well, he was, especially in the second half, pushing forward a lot further in the pitch and overtaking Vardy, which I was so surprised at. I mean, the guy's not the tallest in the world and he's not the quickest player, but my God, he's got an engine to him. And he just defended greatly with him and Tielemans, which we'll get onto in a bit. How they worked off each other with Pratt in the midfield as well was fantastic, and I can't stress him high enough. James Justin, this is the first time we've seen him this season playing a back three. So alongside Fofana, and the last time he played in that position was against Man United with Evans and Wes Morgan, which weren't as good in my opinion. Now that he's got Fuchs there, he's got more pace than both of Evans and Morgan, and with Fofana in that back line, it is looking so good. A couple of times he broke the play, and they've just learned to absorb the pressure by doing the opposite, not by absorbing, by playing it, getting one player past. And a couple of times he made some great runs forward and was part of the build-up play, which was really, really good to see. Christian Fuchs, absolute colossal performance today. At that back line, again, you're looking at, if you're playing a back five, I know these Thomas and Albrighton were wing backs, but however, these two are not the most experienced players at wing backs. Albrighton plays a winger most of his life, not a wing back, and Thomas plays as wing back, but he's not had much game experience. And I think he's only 19 or 20. So it's so impressive. But anyway, back to Fuchs. I think the way that he broke the ball, the way that, first of all, we've missed him from long throws. We didn't see too much of it, but I think that's something that we really, really miss. We look at him just kind of able to break the press so well, take the ball, run out to a position, and then just hold it. Take a player, take a touch, move forward with the ball, carry the ball, and break that pressure away from the midfield and drive into the midfield, which I thought was super useful. Finding space where you think there wouldn't be and coming back towards the line, especially Schmeichel has a lot of trust in him. And obviously for the first goal, it starts with Schmeichel just giving a quick ball to Fuchs and him just launching it. So you see the vision that he has. So as well, a lot of the coaching role, I think, is done via Fuchs because he's essentially the captain of that back line, that back five. Don't know if he's played in the back five for Austria, but you can imagine with that international experience, with the experience he's had as well with Schalke in the Champions League and the Europa League, that's really helped him out as well. And he's developing into this new coaching role, which I'm absolutely loving. Vardy, it's the same thing over and over again, isn't it? He's an absolute nuisance on the ball, and he's a pest, constantly hounding people down, looking for problems. And the only problem I had with him is, A, he missed that chance when he should have put it away for the fourth goal where he didn't quite. And B, at times he's too unselfish. Like, he should have taken them shots away. He's constantly looking for other people. But again, if he's not that unselfish and he is more selfish, he'll try and put that first goal away, which maybe he wouldn't have squared to Barnes to score. But he's absolutely influential in the way we press. If you look, his arms are constantly pointing, go hit, go hit, go hit, go hit, which I'm so happy about. And I'm so glad that he's back in the team. I'm glad that they took him off after 85 minutes and put on Wes Morgan, who again had a good performance, but we'll come on to Harvey Barnes. Again, it's one thing that we've said again and again. He's a real talent. Harvey Barnes is such a good talent, and his ability to go and play the ball, run at defenders, take three people on at times, and then just move in and move out. I can't really fault him. His link-up play with Vardy and Pratt was absolutely outstanding in this game. And he's always willing to run and track back. So a couple of times Luke Thomas was on the dash back and he would replace that position. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of every single player that came on. Tielemans, again, you didn't see a lot of him, but off the ball work, I think him and Mendy and Pratt do super, super, super well. His goal, he took fantastically for the penalty. Off the ball work was sensational. And his positioning, he's becoming one of the best players in that central midfield that I've ever seen play for Leicester. The player that he should look up to would be probably Drinkwater, but his vision is almost better than Drinkwater. Drinkwater kind of had one pass in him to get it over to Mahrez, and that was the plan. But his ability to go back as well and track and work with Mendy, bring people out of position, as well as getting the ball, turning, hitting it to somewhere special, like we saw against Arsenal, where with the under assist with Vardy's goal. Dennis Pratt ran his absolute socks off for 60 minutes straight, and it was a shame to actually see him come off. But I think he understands now that he's playing more games than he was last season, but also we have games coming thick and fast, and he will get his opportunity in the Europa League as well as in the Premier League. Same with like dropping Maddison. You look at the team that started today, you wouldn't have thought they would score 4 goals. If you think about how we started last season and the way that we ended, and this performance against this quality opposition was unbelievable, really. I can't really speak highly enough, but Pratt ran his absolute socks off. He was trying to push forward. At times he pushed against the defense super, super hard, and at times won balls. And as well, when we were on the back foot, he was playing alongside Tielemans and Mendy in the midfield. So that's a lot of running to do for one guy. But that's the reason why we paid the good money for him and why we've got him in the team. His defense was just as good as his attack. Now, his attack is always seen and his pressing was good. But I think his attack and defense were just as good as each other, which is the biggest compliment probably I could say. Albrighton just didn't stop going up and down that wing. A lot of the times, if you saw in the EAK Athens game, he played more as a right back and then kind of pushed on a little bit. This game, he was a lot more free to go up and down that line. So you look at the second goal for Vardy, the way he pushed on, we've mentioned this before, but he just defended so well. As a right back and as a player that's adapting to that wing back role, I think he did super, super, super well. And that's going to be the main takeaway from this game, because it just kept going and kept going and kept going right up the line and right back down. Every single time, he just looked absolutely brilliant. Luke Thomas, bearing in mind this is his second game, I think, or maybe 4 games in total, 5 games even he played in the Premier League. The dude's like 19, 20. And the football intelligence he has was fantastic. The way that he pressed, the way that he decided to come at players. And as I was saying before, he was overtaking Barnes and playing a couple of balls. He pressed really well. He defended incredibly well as well. So the Brendan Rodgers got this team playing unbelievable football at an unbelievable rate. And it's something that I'm so impressed with. And it's something that I didn't imagine Leicester seeing at the beginning of the season, you know, because it was the first game was absolutely brilliant. And I absolutely loved what we did for 3-0, but it just seems like we're getting better and better and we're building up the confidence, we're building up the team. And yes, it looks like the Aston Villa result was a bit of a freak that kind of knocked the confidence. And now with those players out that we do, it is what it is. But yeah, again, massive, massive credit to Luke Thomas, because absolutely sensational in my opinion. James Justin, again, playing on that right position with Fofana, I thought he was great. The way that he would take players on, the way that they'd marshal out certain players like Bamford and stop the attack coming through. Again, I've mentioned before just in this video about how he's going backwards and he's changing the formation and he's playing in that position that he's not used to. And he's still putting in unbelievable performances. Bearing in mind, I think he's played every single game since the beginning of the season. So it's going to be a really, really hard game to try. But he has to play because there's nobody else that can really play that position. Brendan Rodgers deserves a lot of credit for going for the formation that he did with the team that he did, because if we would have gone 2-0 down, people would be screaming for Wes Morgan to come on. They would be absolutely round down his neck. Why are you not playing Wes Morgan? And it's a risk, and it absolutely paid off. He just shows you how well he's done with this team. And this team is very bare bones at the moment, especially in the defensive half. And to play him as kind of a right of a three, and that probably that Brendan Rodgers wanted to do with Fofana, Evans, and Soyuncu, but now he couldn't play that. So he's got Fofana, Justin, and Fuchs. It makes it even more amazing that this is the first time they've even played in the formation that we've seen. At least with the Athens game, you saw Wes Morgan come in and have that decent performance. However, with a 19-year-old leading the back line, which I'll say again, Fofana as a main centre-back looks insane. I saw a stat this morning on Twitter. I think it was Marseille have not won since Fofana left. They've conceded 14, drawn twice in 5 games. That's on top of my head. Somebody make sure I get the statistics right in the comments down below. But, oh, man, what a player. And what he's doing for this team is absolutely sensational. And I'm going to say this for every single player, but to lead the line the way he did, we didn't miss Johnny Evans. And he's obviously been coached. He's obviously been helped along by the likes of Christian Fuchs and probably Justin as well. But we just didn't miss him. Didn't miss somebody at that back line. It did help that Bamford didn't have the best of games. However, a lot of credit does need to be given to Wesley Fofana on the way he delivered his play and playing balls at times, which a lot of people, if they didn't have the pace or didn't have the vision, would have basically led to a goal. And he let it go through him, and he let it play. And I just, can't rate it enough. You look at somebody like Under as well that came in and did exceptionally well. He's looking better and better every game. And his ability to stand up a play, his pace to get past somebody, his a little bit towards the end where they were kind of him, Maddison, and somebody else at the corner flag were just kind of taking the ball after the 4th goal and just kind of passing it between each other. And the little one, I think Vardy as well Vardy was taken off at that time. Somebody else was there, and just the ability to whip a ball in. And he just looks like he's having a brilliant time playing football. And the only issue is we need to sign him up as soon as humanly possible. I know there was a bit of issues with wages and we didn't have enough money to come into the squad at the time, but he is looking fantastic. He set up that Neel, that's me, nearly goal for Jamie Vardy for the 4th, which he should have put away, but that's probably the only downside I could see. We weren't as clinical. We probably could have been more clinical, but we could always be more clinical, And the last person, James Maddison, a little bit slow at first. I think the game was a bit too quick for the style of play that he wants to play. He wants to hold the ball, get past the players, and he needed to be more quick in this game. And I think he wasn't quick enough for a long time. And then when the ball came to him, we hit them on the counter, and he goes, right, he knows what he's doing with it. He knows where Under is. He knows where Vardy is. And Vardy puts that, Maddison puts that ball across to Under, which I think he probably should have shot. And if a player like Gray gets it, that wouldn't have gone in the back of the net. So Under is unbelievably selfish to give it over to Vardy for a quick tap in, and super, super happy with that 3rd goal. And then obviously Maddison with the setup for the penalty as well. Kind of doing what Maddison's doing, being a nuisance, getting in the wrong spaces. Well, for the opposition, getting in the right spaces for us. I was right on the line. Do I think it's a penalty? Yes, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it was a penalty, and he drew the foul. Tielemans stuck it away, and then Wes Morgan comes in for the final few minutes just to shut up shop. And that's kind of the role we're going to expect from him from the Premier League a little bit. Came in, the free kick comes in, and his head goes straight on it, gets it out, and perfect. What more could we ask for? 3 points. I think we are 2nd in the league at the moment. How many goal differences? I'm just going to check now, not live for you guys, but we are 2nd, 15 points, 8 goal difference. We've played 7, won 5, lost 2, 4-17 against 9, goal difference of 8 with 15 points. And we are all, apart from Villa, Man City, Man United and Burnley, we all have the same amount of games played. So we're looking really decent coming into the end of the season. Anyway, was there anything I missed? I tried to cover everything on my own. It's the first time I'm doing something on my own as it is. Let me know what you think of it. Leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Unfortunately, and Alex and James are all busy today, so it's just me and myself. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, we'd really appreciate it. We're trying to push for 150, 200 subs at the moment, and we'd hopefully like to get that by the end of the year, the 150. So we'd really appreciate all the feedback. Thank you for everybody that's watched our last preview of Leeds. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We're going to try and get a Wolves fan on. We're going to, I'm trying to look for a Braga preview, but I don't think that's going to happen as well. If you think these are good, let me know in the comments down below. Leave thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully I'll do one of these for Braga as well. Oh, what a game. I'm so excited.